There are some things that you just need that go-to recipe for. Pie dough, pie crust, I think is one of those things where you just have to have like a recipe that it's gonna be good, it's gonna be repeatable, and chances are you're not gonna use it on a regular basis. So you wanna be able to show up and use it every Thanksgiving or Christmas or whenever you're making a pie and know that you can count on this working exactly how you want it to. This is a buttery, flaky, easy to make pie dough. So it's usually around Thanksgiving when people reach out to me like, hey, do you have a pie dough recipe? Yes, I do. Here it is. So we're going to start real simple. This is a very easy project, simple ingredients, all-purpose flour, salt, sugar, butter, ice cold water. Link to the full recipe in the description. We'll just kind of go over things here, but if you want, ingredients and then pictures or printable PDF, that's in the link in the description. For this project, I recommend using a standing mixer. I'm using a KitchenAid mixer. It makes this job a lot easier. If you don't have a standing mixer, you could get away with just a regular whisk to cut the butter into the flour, or maybe even like a dough whisk. So those are kind of your other choices if you don't have a standing mixer. It's going to probably take you a little bit more time, but it's totally doable. All right, I'm going to take my dry ingredients, flour, salt, and sugar. All-purpose flour is what I would recommend. It's got a lower gluten protein content. If you were to use bread flour, it would make your crust, your end crust, kind of tough. And we want to avoid that. We're looking to have a really light, flaky, buttery pie crust. So use all-purpose flour. Dry ingredients go in a bowl of the mixer, and we're going to just, with a spoon, mix the salt and the sugar together into the flour just to distribute it. And then with a paddle attachment, I'm going to add my butter, so diced butter. We want the butter cold, really important thing here. I'm using a block of Kerrygold butter. I've adapted this recipe for 1 block of Kerrygold butter, unsalted. It's 227 grams. I just figure let's just use 1 block of butter. It's easy that way. Dice it up into somewhere in the neighborhood of like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch kind of cubes. And then it's going to go into the mixer with a paddle. And we're going to mix it on like kind of like a lowish, medium-ish speed. And we're looking for the flour, the dry ingredients, and the butter to come together in a way, or to break up together. We want there to be sandy pieces. We want there to be some corn kernel, like popcorn kernel size pieces, and maybe like a few like pea-sized pieces of the butter floury mixture. These randomly sized pieces are going to help create a good distribution of some larger pieces of butter that are going to create leavening and release steam inside the crust to create some of that flakiness. So we're not looking to make it all completely sandy, and certainly we don't want lots of big pieces. So we're looking for mostly sandy, a little bit of popcorn kernel size pieces, some pea-sized pieces. It'll take like maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Once we have that texture, we're going to add in the ice cold water, and we're going to mix the dough just so it comes together. We don't want to overwork it. We don't want to develop what gluten proteins are in the flour and make our dough tough. We want to just bring everything together, and then from here, like cold is kind of the theme. We want to use cold butter, and we want our dough to be cold when we go to roll it. So it comes together with the water, and then I'm putting it into a piece of like just plastic wrap to wrap it up. You could press it between a couple pieces of parchment paper just so it's ready to go to roll it later. But whatever you decide to put it in to contain it in the refrigerator, because we want to make it cold. I know it's like cold, cold, cold. But we want to press it down into like maybe an inch thick disc. This is going to help give us a jump start when we do go to roll it later. If you just make a weird, rough, shaggy ball of dough and you wrap it up and you put it in the fridge, it's really going to fight you when you want to turn it into a 1/4 inch circle disc of dough. So we're kind of making our lives easier here by pressing it down and essentially pre-shaping it. All right, so into the fridge, an hour or so, 2 hours. I guess you could do it like the day before if you wanted to, if we're looking at like a Thanksgiving kind of project, or 2 days before, whatever, it would be fine as long as it's wrapped up and protected from air. So plastic wrap in that case would be good. But if this is a same day project, you're going to roll this out into a pie crust, which is also something you can do a day in advance. Like for thinking Thanksgiving, you can make the dough, shape it into the pie tin, and then wrap it in plastic and then save it for the next day. And then you're kind of ready to go, like just assembling your pie. That's usually my approach to like a Thanksgiving or Christmas kind of situation. Okay, so we've got this disc of dough that's 1 inch thick. We'll put it in the fridge for like an hour or so, and then we're take it out and we're gonna put it between 2 pieces of parchment paper. I like this brand Paper Chef. I get it at Costco. It's cheaper there. They have it on Amazon. It's more expensive. It's the right size and shape for a lot of the stuff that I do. It doesn't have any weird flavors. It works great. So I've got 2 nice big squares of parchment paper that I ripped off. I've got my dough in between, and now I'm just gonna work my dough with a rolling pin until it's about 1/4 inch thick neighborhood. But I'm also looking for it to be a certain size. I'll get to that in a minute, actually. I'm getting ahead of myself because I do that. But we're gonna roll 12 to 6, 2 to 8, 3 to 9, lots of different directions. It's cold, so you can apply like a little bit of pressure to it, but we're not trying to smash it and we don't want to force it. It's gonna kind of temper up as you work with it, and it'll become a little bit more cooperative as you roll it. So take your time, be patient, and just work in lots of different directions. So how do we know if it is thick enough or big enough? There's no need for a tape measure here. If you take your 9 inch pie tin and you place it right in the middle of the circle and you have about 2 inches of dough around the rim of the pan, 2 to 3, something like that, you're gonna be in the neighborhood of the right thickness. If you roll it out way too thin, when you eventually have slices of pie, the crust isn't gonna hold together. It's gonna be too thin. If you go too thick, there's just a certain amount of thickness where it just becomes, it's too much crust. And that can be kind of overwhelming. So I think something in this neighborhood, about 1/4 inch, and maybe sticking out 2 to 3 inches outside the rim of the pie tin is gonna be just right. So we've been rolling the dough in between 2 pieces of parchment paper. So the dough will be it'll be a little bit stuck to the paper, which is not a problem. So there's a trick to this to make things easier. We're gonna release one side of paper, and then we're gonna kind of stick it back down, like lightly, so we can flip everything over. So now we have a new side of paper that we haven't released. We're gonna remove this. This can be discarded. You can save it for something else. It's gonna have some dough stuck to it. But now we can put our pie tin inverted on the exposed dough. And now when we flip it over, this piece of paper will just pull right off. If you don't do this step of releasing the paper, now when you go to take the paper off, you're gonna fight with it. The dough is gonna be kind of sort of wrinkled halfway into the tin, and you risk ripping your dough. So release the paper, flip it over, remove the paper, put it in, and then the paper comes right off. It's just an easy way to do it that way. And from here, we're just gonna gently encourage the dough into the pie tin. You kind of lift the side, press it in, lift, just work your way around. We don't wanna squish the dough. Like you don't wanna push your fingers through it. We're just looking to form it into the pan. So work your way around, get it all formed. In this instance, I am choosing to cut away the excess dough. There is extra dough in this recipe, and I've considered maybe I should scale back my recipe a little bit. It's like, nah, I'd rather just have a little bit extra dough for a creative project, whatever that might be. The worst thing that can happen when you're making a pie is you don't have enough dough, and you're trying to get it the right size and it's getting too thin. I just want to eliminate that possibility altogether. So I'd rather have a little bit of extra for a side project, or you can go real rustic with it and you can not trim it like I am, and you can fold waves into it, and then you have even more beautiful crust that you can eventually, egg wash and, look more like this. But I am using a paring knife and I am trimming away the extra dough around the side. So I go around, trim it all off, and then, maybe make any adjustments I might need to make. And I'm wrapping this in plastic wrap and putting it in the fridge. So this is getting ahead the day before for like a Thanksgiving apple pie kind of project. So that's it. It's ready to go. You know, in the case of apple pie, I'd load my filling in there, topping, and, you know, bake it. Easy. Just assemble and go. Alternatively, you know, if you needed to pre-bake this, if you're doing something different, you could easily do that. But this real simple thing. So remember, cold butter, really important. Use all-purpose flour. Get your dough cold before you roll it out. Take your time, be patient with rolling it. No need to fight it. You know, if you're patient with it, you'll end up with a really nice even thickness. So it's up to you. What kind of pie are you gonna make? I'm doing apple.